Jordan Mailata joins us. Jordan and his wife are being honored at the Philadelphia Children's Alliance Bear Affair, which is next week. Celebration of healing and hope, supporting the mission to end child sex abuse. We talked about Bear Affair last time you were here, Jordan. Still tickets at bearaffair.org, but I know this event has always been really important, and this cause has been very important to you and your wife.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Good to hear from you guys again.
Yeah. What's up, big man?
Appreciate the platform. I just think that this topic is very taboo and not talked about enough. So just bringing more attention to it to raise awareness. I think that's just something that my wife and I can do as part of the community.
Yep, absolutely. And part of this organization was one of the beneficiaries of the album that you guys did this year. So the event is next Thursday, May 1st. It's at the Constitution Center. And I know our suburban listeners, there's free parking. And anytime our suburban listeners think about driving into the city, I know this, I'm a suburbs guy now.
Man.
You start worrying about parking.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's important to know. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, bearaffair.org is where you can get your tickets. So Jordan, you were in New Zealand, right? Trying to promote the game. What is it like? I've grown up around people who know football my whole life. Mm-hmm. Like trying to get people who don't really know football to understand what football is all about. Like, what is that like?
I mean, I think you can be a fan and not know anything about a game, and that's exactly what happened. So I was very shocked to see the growth of the game in New Zealand. So many fans. They may not be Eagles fans, but just seeing them, pull up in whatever jersey that they had bought the team that they support, that was pretty cool to see just the growth of the game, but also having the opportunity to host a flag football camp or clinic down there for kids, just to get, I guess, more interest, pique the interest of kids down there at a young age and let them know that this is a potential path.
Yeah, it's just interesting because NFL football American football is so big here, but worldwide, is soccer and basketball, and American football is behind that. It's so interesting to me to understand that in other countries they're just starting to really fall in love with American football. As we grew up with it, as it's basically been our American pastime. Yeah. Football has been. Yeah,
I mean it's the same. It's the same thing about growing rugby here in the U.S. It's like not common. You don't grow up playing the sport. You don't know a thing about it. You got to do your own research, and then you gain interest. But it's sort of the same thing that we're trying to do back home in Australia and New Zealand. Just trying to pique the interest in order to grow or gain the following down there. So it's been pretty fun this off season. Got to go home to Australia and New Zealand for the first time. So pretty cool. Pretty honored to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool for us as Eagles fans. Like you become one of the faces of trying to grow the game outside of the U.S. Obviously, you learning the game and picking it up late. I'm just wondering from your perspective why it's important to you to be able to sort of share the experience of what it's like with American football and, I don't know, answer questions, dispel some myths, things of that nature when going around the globe talking about it. Why has that been, I guess, a passion of yours and intriguing for you?
I think, one, the opportunity, is amazing. We just talk about that in itself. But then, two, for me, trying to prove myself in this league, it's always been, he's the rugby kid, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right, he's the rugby kid. I've been trying to, and I still a chip on my shoulder, prove myself every year. When someone brings up my name, I want them to say, oh yeah, he's one of the best tackles in the game. Rugby will always be a part of me, but that's the chip on my shoulder that I use as motivation to go out there and give everything I have. And so, for me, it's just about why can't we play? Mm-hmm. Why can't we deserve this shot too? And so that's kind of why I love, trying to spread the game and keep the growth going down under, just to keep giving kids opportunities to come play this sport, because anyone can play this sport, man. You just have to have the passion and the drive to be able to do to do it, and if you get that opportunity to take hold of it. So that's really why.
Jordan Mailata with us. Now, Jordan, we are 2 days away from the draft. You'll get some new teammates on Thursday. Now, what was your experience that weekend like? The Eagles took you in the 7th round. Were there other teams that you thought, might be interested? Did you know it was going to be the Eagles? The process of waiting. What do you remember about NFL draft weekend?
I remember everything. I remember everything. That call changed my life. That call really did change my life. And I remember getting invited probably a couple of days out before Thursday night, and I just thought, yeah, why not? Just go down there on day 3, just check it out, live it up, take in the sights and sounds. And, went down there on the Saturday on day 2, I believe it was. Went there on day 2 and ended up getting a tour of the whole facility. Down at AT&T Stadium. I think that's where it was. And, man, it was incredible. I had no inclination that I would get drafted. For me, it was just a shot in the dark. If it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, well, it doesn't. I'll just go back to the training paddock and keep grinding it out till I get an opportunity through the IPP program. And lo and behold, I got a call from a Cleveland number, and it ended up being somebody from the Jets, which was hilarious. Just wondering if I was still available. And I was like, well, are you watching the same draft I'm watching? sitting in the back room, I'm sitting there like, oh, no, he wants me in free agency is what my agent was telling me. So I was like, okay. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just, the picks are going by, round 5, round 6, start of round 7 comes, and I've been sitting in this green room in the back for far out, felt like for 4 to 5 hours. Me and my boy Christian, he was part of the IPP program I was in, and he was there for me that day. And sure enough, I get a call from Brandon Brown, who's now the executive GM at the Giants. So he was one of the Eagle Scouts that found me. He was the Eagle Scout that found me. Okay. And I answered the phone to Brandon and said, how's it going? And he said, well, I have someone who wants to speak to you here, and his name is Howie Roseman. And so, I just remember Howie's giddy old self. Hey, Jordan, we're about to take you in the 7th round, pick 233, and I was just overcome and overwhelmed with emotion. I couldn't believe that a team was taking a shot at me. No prior football experience, and the waterfall started happening, the waterworks, everything, and I don't really remember much after the phone call. All right, because I was trying to call my family. I was like, some team is crazy enough to take me. And, man, that phone call changed my life, man. So shout out to Brandon Brown for finding me.
Did you have any, so as you mentioned, you got drafted with no football experience. After the rush of getting selected, was there any, self-doubt in, wait a minute, now I'm going to have to learn how to play football? Was there any doubt that you could actually accomplish what was set before you with getting taken?
Looking back, there was no doubt because I was a cocky young man. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
You are.
I'm allowed to say that word? I am? Okay. Yeah. I apologize, kids, anyone listening. But I was a cocky young man, and I knew I was going to give everything I had, right? And so for me, I was just so excited for the next opportunity that I got, and it was to prove myself. And 8 years later, fire out, still trying to prove myself. Can you believe that?
Well, I think you've done a pretty good job.
It's great that you keep that as a chip on your shoulder, but I think for the most part, we know who you are.
Yes.
I think you've done a great job of proving yourself. So,
it's the right attitude.
Keep the chip, though.
I'm not so sure you're good, actually. You might need to be even better next year. I'm not sold. Yeah.
It's all good. I'm just listening to his draft story, man, and it's awesome. And I don't care how many draft stories I've heard in my lifetime. Each one makes you reflect back on your own experience. Sitting there listening to Jordan talk about his day just takes me back to my own day. So it's no matter when that name is called, no matter what number it is, it's the greatest feeling in the world, man. It is the greatest feeling in the world.
I had no idea what the draft was until 3 months prior to me going to it. So.
So you probably didn't have all the anxiety
Right.
that most of us have.
The perfect reaction. That's the craziest part. I was like, oh my God.
You now, as you know, you've been here a while now, and you're one of the leaders, one of the sort of like elder statesmen on the team. I assume you look at your own role as a responsibility when these new guys show up. That you're one of the people that shows them what it's done here. Do you think about that as like that? It's in part your job to do that. Yep.
Always. I always think about it. You know, the leaders that I've had that have been great examples for me always led by action, and so that's all I know how to do. It was a simple recipe. Jason Kelsey did it. Lane Johnson does it. Bloody Isaac Selmalo did it. Brandon Brooks did it. You know, those guys, Fletcher Cox, BG, they did it. They're led by action. They're led by routine. And so for me, that's all it is, showing these kids. It's simple. It's going to ask a lot of you, but the recipe is simple. You don't have to solve X squared plus Y3, power to 3. Like, you don't need to do all that. Yeah. It's a simple recipe, but it's gonna demand a lot from you. So, yeah, I always think about it. Everything I do when I step in that building.
Different position to be in for yourself and your teammates, at least with the exception of maybe 4 of them this time of the year. Going in as defending champions, I'd be remiss without asking you, where are you at right now mentally, physically? Where are you at in your preparation and getting ready for the season? How you feeling mentally and physically?
Yeah, I'm already ready. Like, we're all excited to be back. But for myself personally, I don't view it as seeing it as defending champions. Last year was last year. Last season was last season. That's done, right? I think that's part of this, what they call the Super Bowl hangover, is with the pressure of feeling like we have to defend the title. And I was honest with Sirianni. I went up to him a couple of weeks before OTAs, and I told him where I was at. And the fact is like, this is a whole new team. There's whole new faces. We should be dealing with this how we dealt in 23. Move on. The quicker we can move on, the better, because it's a whole new team. It's a new goal. What's the goal this year? Win the championship. That's just it for me. Again, I'll try to keep it as simple as possible, but I've already moved on. I've already moved on. Now, we still got to get that ring ceremony out the way before we can.
Before you officially move on. Yeah.
Listen, you just listen.
That's like the last chapter in the book, but mentally, for me, I'm already thinking about this season.
Yeah, you just scared the hell out of me, so don't worry. Listen, you're not defending champs anymore. I'm not going to say repeat on any of that. We are moving on.
Yeah, we forgot about it. Like,
it's just a whole new season. Like,
yes.
Fans and you guys can do all that. But you're asking me for my approach is this year, and that's just it.
Yep.
My approach is, when we lost that one in 22 and 23, the 2023 one, we had to move on right away.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know how to deal with adversity, how do we deal with success?
I think it's a great mindset. Yeah. It's a great mindset. Yeah.
You got to move on. You got to be able to move on, because teams ain't gonna wait for you.
That's exactly
teams
right.
Find you a threat. Now that's their problem. But for us, we know what we're about. We know the goal. We know what it takes to get there. But we have a whole new team, and this is a whole new goal again. We're gonna hit the ground running.
Well, we thank you for your time. Before you know it, it's going to be camp time, brother. Before you know it, it's going to be training camp time. So
I'm going to take it day by day, man.
All right. Okay.
Man, I'm
Sounds
fired
good.
up. I'm ready to go.
And again, God bless you and Nikki for being supporters of the Philadelphia Children's Alliance. Again, the Bear Affair is Thursday, May 1st at the Constitution Center. You can get tickets at bearaffair.org. Free parking as well, so you don't have to worry about parking. So thank you again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you back in Philly.
All right, brother.
Thank you, guys.
All right. There he is, Jordan Mailata. As well, the PCA also sells these golden tickets, which are available, and you can get one person that buys. There's only 100 golden tickets. One person gets an auction item, can win an auction item before the auction even starts. So, and there's Eagles prizes in there as well, so you can get a golden ticket as well at bearaffair.org.